I wanted to take a second to talk about Joe Biden's infrastructure bill that passed in the Senate. It's a bipartisan bill, ladies and gentlemen. Bipartisan means, oh shit, it's effed up. You might want to hold your horses, as Joe Manchin says, and it's a terrible bill. Whenever it's bipartisan, it means that they watered it down and watered it down and watered it down and watered it down for the Republicans, because when Republicans are in power, we get Republican legislation, and when Democrats are in power, we get Republican legislation. That's how it works. When Democrats are in power, we get Republican legislation, and that's what we got here. So look, the vote was 69-30, so that means a lot of Republicans voted for this. Even though Trump threatened them, like, you better vote against this bill. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. It's not perfect. You guys didn't give me an infrastructure bill. It's not great. Okay, McDonald's is perfect. Beautiful, amazing, terrific, perfect, amazing, fantastic, perfect, excellent, perfect. Yeah, that's all he says. Anyway, here are the Republicans who ignored him and voted for it. Susan Collins, Lindsey Graham, Chuck Grassley. By the way, Lindsey Graham is like Trump's best friend. Oh, I love Trump. You need your boots next. Right? All right. Chuck Grassley. March McConnell, that's right. I haven't done that impression in a while, too, like that, like Trump. Lisa Murkowski, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, and Tom Tillis. Those are just some of the Republicans who voted for the bill. Now, there are some that were opposed, like Josh Hawley. Now, I went over Josh Hawley and how he was against this. Well, it's a bunch of social liberalism, and I can't vote for this because you say, and he couldn't really say what he opposed because everything in the bill was like, okay, so do you not want to create jobs in Missouri? Do you not want people to have better airports, to have better railways, to have better water so their kids aren't getting killed in school because of lead in their water? Do you want, and in the pipes in the water, do you want better, do you not want electric grids? Do you not, well, of course he doesn't because he's about oil, basically. Right, but do you not want to end, right? So, anyway, their argument, they said that, Josh Hawley is our right populist, ladies and gentlemen. We're different. We're right populists. Let me tell you something. There are right populists in this country. They're not in office. The right populists are regular working men and women in this country who want this kind of bill to pass. Josh Hawley is just a guy that goes with the times. I want to be opposed to Trump, and I won't get support from the Democrats. So I'm going to act like I'm a populist. So their argument for why they voted against it was, oh my God, it's going to put $250 billion into the deficit. It's going to add it. Oh, fuck. I want to vote for this bill, but it's going to add money to the deficit. Yeah. You know what's so funny? They cry about the debt when Democrats are in power. Oh my God, the debt! Oh, Jesus Christ. I put that sentence away for 4 long years or 8 long years because Democrats F up and whatever. They F up and they put us power. But all of a sudden, Democrats are in power. I care about the debt again. Meanwhile, these people, minus Josh Hawley, but he would have voted for it, voted for a 2017 tax cut that added $2 trillion to the deficit and gave everything to the rich. And they constantly fund war and Wall Street and all this kind of crap. So, there you go, right? So obviously being dumb and stupid because we know. I get it. So the bill sets aside the largest share of the money for things like bridges, $110 billion. It also includes roughly $73 billion for electric grid and power infrastructure, $66 billion for passenger and freight rail, $65 billion for broadband infrastructure. I'm sorry, that's internet for all. $55 billion for water systems and infrastructure. $55 billion for Western water storage. $39 billion for public transit. $25 billion for airports. $21 billion for environmental remediation projects, $17 billion for ports and waterways. And then there's $15 billion for electric vehicles and $11 billion for street and transportation safety. So now I'm gonna go over this. So you wonder, how is it that they didn't pass it through without the filibuster? Well, it's because Joe Biden still wants the filibuster because he's old school and he doesn't really care about getting anything done for this country. That's who Joe Biden is. And if anyone tells you anything like that, that the opposite of that, they're chumps. But it's also because Joe Biden cares more about what Republicans want instead of what Democrats want. I'm going to be for all Americans. You're going against the American people's interests. But either way, I digress. So I think what he did was he went behind closed door. Hey, Jack, how you doing, Chuck? Hey, Mitch, remember when we voted for the Wall Street bailout together? Remember when we voted for the crime bill together? And Mitch said, yes, I know, Mr. President. That's how he talks. So, I'm just getting text from a friend. So, he probably did some backslapping, good old, what do you want? That's what he did. He got them all together, hung out with every one of these Republicans, and he said, okay, what do you want? What do you want from me? What do you want? I will give you whatever you want if you vote for this damn bill. And it turns out he probably offered them lots of privatization, lots of taxes on you, the middle class, more military money. He probably said, I'll deliver for you like I won't for the American people. So, right? So he probably did that. Now, I would have rather he go to Joe Manchin and said, all right, Joe, I'll be your best friend or I'll be your enemy. Which one do you want? Right? I've explained this many times on this show. You do what I want, I'll give you whatever you want. I'll give you a spot in the administration. I'll do this for West Virginia. I'll do that for West Virginia. You don't do what I want and you don't vote for this effing bill the way it is, I'll make sure you never have a job in Washington, D.C. again, not even next year in your next term in the Senate. I'll give that to somebody else, fund a primary opponent against you, make them win. And I'll make sure lobbyists never hire you. You'll be a broke-ass bitch. I won't do it. But no, he doesn't effing do that. Now, look, the fact that he got all these Republicans, you could celebrate, or you could go, holy shit, what did he promise them? Every single time you get Republicans on your side or Democrats vote bipartisan in a bipartisan fashion, meaning both parties vote together on the same thing, it's usually for war, for Wall Street, for bailouts, for whatever, military contracts. So taxes on the poor and tax cuts for the rich. That's literally Democrats and Republicans and Democrats, really. But right. So he probably promised them a bunch of corporate giveaways. So I love how he can promise them all that, but he can't promise you free college, ending the wars, or Medicare for all, or Green New Deal, or minimum wage. So, here's... I just couldn't bear to hear this news. Now, there is one other thing. They're saying that possibly the Senate Republicans and Democrats got together and said, hey, let's pass this, and then we can, because there's a $3.something trillion package, $3.3 trillion package that Joe Biden wants to pass, the human infrastructure, elder care, expanding Medicare, free college, universal pre-K, and a whole bunch of other great things in the bill. And it would be amazing if he passed that, but he won't. Right? And what they're saying is, let's avoid having to pass that bill by voting bipartisanly. Is that a word? In a bipartisan fashion, and putting these other guys, the progressives in the House and Pelosi, in a tight bind, in a corner. Because what they're saying in the House is, we won't even look at the bill until you pass the bipartisan one as well. So, is the squad going to fold? Yes. Is Pelosi going to fold? Absolutely yes. And that's what they're counting on. They're saying, hey, we need this. So, and if they do pass that partisan one, it's going to be watered down, way down. Because that's what Democrats do. They don't deliver. Now, the next thing is Joe Manchin is also saying, oh, I'm not going to vote for that package. $3 trillion is way too much. Come on, squad. Use your power. Don't fold like you always do.